And we're back in business. How are you guys doing?
Oh my God, what is guys? What's up, Byark? What's up, Nine? How's it going?
We're doing great here. Actually, just to kind of introduce the the squad, I guess. Welcome everybody. This is Fresh FM. I am joined by the lovely Vesper for our first podcast, as well as NineWholeGrains. You've probably heard of him here and there, maybe, possibly. But yeah, this is our flagship episode, and we're here to talk Splatoon and much more. Hopefully, TM. So how are you guys doing?
Doing good. I didn't really do much today. I slept in until like 3 p.m. Weekend, got the day off work, and yeah, I'm just chilling out now. I was gonna stream earlier, and then I decided not to, and now we're here streaming here, so looking to kill it.
And Nine, your Sunday, I'm sure, as beautiful as always.
Yeah, weather's been good for the last week in St. Louis, which might be a record. Yeah, got up, went to the gym. I had the day off work, so I just kind of took it easy. Played X rank solo queue for the first time.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I can now say I've done that. Got to about just before 2300 in Rainmaker and Tower Control. So we'll see where I can end up if I play a little more.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, maybe you'll be able to make a splash at Smash Splash at some point. I hear the team you're going with, right, is like actually like good, right? Like.
Well, it's changed since the one it's changed since the one we talked about, but I still have faith in the team that I'm going with right now.
What's your roster?
So it's myself, Regent, Katie, and Minato.
Okay. Okay.
So,
all right.
We'll see.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Dude, Smash and Splash is gonna be so good.
Yeah. No, it's actually gonna be wild because there's like I think there's already like 220 plus players. That's not including spectators, so it's definitely like the big one. And there's just going to be a lot of competition I'm looking forward to. We've got that Japanese team coming all in, the all-girl Japanese team that I'm so looking forward to seeing. That actually came completely out of left field for me. So I think that's...
Was that like a... I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this. Was that actually like a deal thing that happened? Or did they just like decide to fly out?
They just literally like one day, I think like AC was scrolling down the attendees list and he's like, wait, what just happened? Like what is going on here? And yeah, they just happened to join the Discord server. So that's been insane. I think that's going to be one of the things I'm really looking forward to, beyond just like, obviously it's the land before E3, and we're going to be really looking forward to seeing how Set the Destroy X does, because that's the week before the big competition, right? So I think those are
dude, I hope they don't get sick. Like, that always happens. Someone always gets sick right after a big event like this, and Smash and Splash is going to be the biggest one. What if they go to that, get sick, and stumble into E3 like puking?
Oh man, that actually happened to me at G5 on my way back from G5. I was out of it for like a week.
Yeah, no, everyone, that was called the Jenna sickness, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Jenna sickness. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, no,
I think Pengit told me that the true combo there is the handshake to Purell pump. That he said is the true combo for not getting sick. So
the handshake.
I think I'm gonna try that this time. Yeah, Purell right there.
Well, I mean, beyond Smash and Splash, we obviously have like a lot of competition ahead of us. E3 obviously being the culmination of, all these regions across the world kind of coming together, and their best teams kind of playing at E3. And I guess I wanted to start off, Nine, obviously having you on as a guest, but in general for Fresh FM, we'll talk a lot about the guests, really put you on the hot seat for everything, both Splatoon and not Splatoon. But I guess to start off with, like, I guess the most obvious questions, kind of like the Inkling Open. That was a really cool experience, right? You were able to cast in front of such a large crowd, and just in general, like the tournament matches that we had were really incredibly fun. So I don't know, like I guess I'll start with you, Nine, in terms of the commentating experience and in terms of the games that went on. What really like sticks in your mind from that weekend beyond it just being generally a good time, TM?
How good Jordan Kent is at what he does.
God.
He is
Dude,
so
Jordan's
good.
a legend.
He is so good. And like I could talk about commentary forever, so stop me if I get going too much. But the like flow of a match and the flow of the back and forth is something that I feel like I usually have to control. And that's difficult to do while you're also trying to play another role. Jordan was able to take the quote unquote play-by-play and just kind of tell people, the score, the story, the time, things like that. And then he knew when to pass it off, but he dictated that back and forth flow. And more than that, we had little hand signals. We didn't practice them, but we would just, if something was on the map, we would like point the person who wasn't talking, and then that would let the other person know that they had something they wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
And it was just
That's got to be a NineWholeGrains thing, because he did that to me at G5 once. Because I was like talking, I was like rambling on about something in the middle of a match, and like something happened up at the top. It was like 3 players down, and Nine just like points at our monitor, and I'm just like talking. I'm like,
that's the thing that's really cool that like can't beat a commentary experience. Like, you know, just commentating in our bedroom obviously isn't the pinnacle of commentary experience, but the really cool thing just in general about commentating at LANs is that you normally have like 2 or 3 monitors of all the action going on, obviously what's on the stream, and then what like the overall map perspective, and then some notes from the broadcasters. Like, you have all that, and so obviously the camera isn't on you, so you can be like, hey, either I want to speak right now, and like let's like you can finish whatever you're saying, and I'm gonna speak right after that, or this really cool thing happened. Please pay attention to it. We need to talk about this right now, which unfortunately gets lost in translation over the internet because, like, let's say I'm commentating with either of you, and I notice something really cool happens. There's not really an easy way of just like interjecting myself without just completely halting commentary. So that's the really cool bit, I think, in general. But yes, Jordan is insane. Also, what is stupid is just how, like, Nine, that was literally the best day of commentary for you in your life. I don't know what you've done beyond Splatoon or even Melee. I don't know what your entire resume of commentary is, but that had to be the best day. You and Jordan were far too charismatic for your own damn good for it to have not have been, honestly. It was insane, and his charisma and your charisma just went together so damn well. It was insane. Yeah, beyond that, oh wait, I think I died.
Are we back? Did we fix ourselves?
I think I'm back.
You were talking for so long.
That is okay.
Frozen on
I heard none of that. I'm sure it was riveting.
The literal second that like I stopped talking, my screen went black, and you guys came back, so we're good. But essentially, what I was saying is that Nine, you and Jordan were far too charismatic for your own damn good, and that was literally the best day of commentary for you ever. I don't care what your entire resume of what you've done before that. It was just actually like me and Carter being the guy behind a lot of the broadcast for EndGameTV, we were just like looking at each other like, this can't be real. Like, this actually
right? No, okay. No, like I was like sitting at home watching the stream, like whether I'm playing the games or not, like watching Nine commentate with Jordan. Like Nine normally kills it when he's at these events. Like he normally just goes in and does like a super good job. But like that event specifically, I could tell you were like feeling the atmosphere. You were feeling the power. I could tell you were feeling Jordan, and it was so good.
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all, both of you. That means a lot to me. The amount of prep that I put in for that event is like, so Zach's tweet about the 10,000 hours theory.
Oh, yeah.
That's not too far off the mark. I spent a lot of time prepping for that event. I was probably spending between 20 and 30 hours a week just watching scrims. I bought an open rec account just so I could watch Japanese scrims and
wow, that's dedication.
Take notes, and I had notebooks of stuff, and I just wanted to do a good job, you know. And I always feel like I'm pretty up to date with the game itself. You know, I play enough solo queue that I don't completely lose the flow of the game.
Right.
And I watch enough that I feel like I've always got a pretty good idea of what's going on. But I just wanted to make sure that everything that I said was correct. I want to be able to summarize these teams, kind of boil it down into an easily digestible form, and have it be right. You know, you hate to oversimplify something, but I was really, really pleased with the way it came out, and you know, a lot of credit to everyone who worked and put in time at the staff, and it was just an amazing time.
Yeah.
Do you still have a whiteboard? Was that you?
Oh yeah, actually, if you want to see it, this is my whiteboard right here. So this is a giant whiteboard that I keep near my desk at all times, and on commentary day, that is full of notes. I fill it up entirely with notes.
So you've got the BTM on your board, basically. The BTM of data entirely on your wall is what you're saying.
Yep, and I've got 4 different colored markers too, and I use them all for different denotations. Names are blue, stats are red, win-loss is weapons are green, and then previous matches of later in that tournament are black. And I
this
never
guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I take what I do seriously. I don't take myself seriously, but I take what I do seriously.
We can tell.
That's a motto. That's a motto to live by. Okay, now your camera's unblurry. I mean, in general, yeah, no, I think it really shone through. I was really intimidated when I was commentating with Jordan. He just has that effect on you, I guess. But you held up really, really, really well. Beyond that, though, we had like obviously really good matches. I think. I mean, obviously, Vesper, you played in them. which is pretty fun to see. And yeah, actually, you were in probably one of the more entertaining sets, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the very, very first set of the day was Komodo versus Vitamin C.
Yeah. Talk to me about Vitamin C in general, as like, you know, they were incredible.
So yeah, no, they played so well in that set. Like, I'm super proud of them. Because like, honestly, we like almost lost. Like, it was really, really close coming on to that last game on Port Mackerel. Honestly, like, I want to say we just got lucky on our push at the very end of the last. Maybe not lucky, but like, you know, we found some opportunities that maybe shouldn't have worked, and it was kind of just like one right decision led to another, when maybe, like, you know, that right decision probably shouldn't have worked out. and yeah, that's how we took it. You know, like at the end, we were sitting there like 2 points away from a lead. I think maybe 1 point away from a lead, like struggling to pop the Rainmaker. Like three of us are rotating in and out to try and keep damage on the bubble, because we knew that if we lost that pop, we were going to lose. Like, it was as simple as that. Every single player on the team knew that if we lost that pop, if Vitamin C got that pop, we were going to lose the set. So we were all there in that lane trying to pop it. And as soon as we got that pop, we knew that we had a chance, and we took it and we ran with it, and we got the knockout.
If I remember correctly, I think I remember a Vitamin C player playing on top of, what part of the map is that called? What's the call out for that one again?
Some people call it snipe, yeah.
Either way, dropping from snipe and unfortunately dropping down at the literally just like the worst frame possible.
That was it was the Clash Blaster too.
Yeah.
The Clash Blaster, all they had to do was stay up there and hold down the button, and that whole thing might have gone a different direction.
Yeah. I think there's like generally, like, when you look back at the tournament, I think there's other moments like that we can kind of look at and was like, yeah, if this one thing had happened, like maybe the story or like how the momentum of the set might have changed, right? Like, in particular for me, and I think you share the sentiment, right? Is I think we were talking about like the Set Destroy X and Tomo set grand final, and that Manta Maria game on tower control was just super back and forth, and I think that spoke volumes about, like, you know, how obviously like the teams can be evenly matched, but unfortunately, I guess the dam just broke after that, after giving away that, what was it, like a 2-point margin?
Yeah, you could tell Tomo. I don't want to say like went on tilt, but you could tell that kind of took a shot to their motivation. Like being in grand finals of the U.S. and Canada Inkling Open, like trying to win that trip to E3, being in the grand finals, just one team left to go, game one, and you're killing it, about to win, and then you lose in overtime. That's a rough hit to the motivation. I
mean, yeah. In all fairness, right? Like, would we, if you wanted a team to represent like the U.S. and Canada, I'm gonna put you all in the hot seat. Who would you want it to be?
I mean, if I want the U.S. Canada to win the whole thing, it's STDX by a country mile.
Yeah.
I mean, you want world domination, right? You want to win it all. You go with number one. I mean, we all joke about wanting to see the best get upset, but like, I mean, it's the biggest stage. If it's
I think
it doesn't feel right.
Exactly. What Nine said is definitely right. Like, when I think about the actual world championships and which team from America from North America that I want to go to win it, definitely STDX. As far as like, you know, maybe if it was a different tournament, maybe if it wasn't a qualifier for E3. I love STDX. I love all the guys on that team. They're all great, but I'm sick of them winning.
Hey, you had a chance on November of 2017, all right? We don't want to hear it.
I did.
You were in a
I did. No, I had a lot of chances, and you know what?
And y'all
still on the grind.
And y'all
still on the grind.
All right.
I ain't giving up. All right.
That's fair.
We're still going.
That's fair. I guess I just don't know when. I mean, I guess like for Komodo at SNS, you're not going to be there, unfortunately. So.
Not going to be there, no.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if Komodo can pull through without the Vesper, and see how far they can go. At Smash Splash at least. But yeah, no, I think in general, like when you talk about E3 and. Because obviously this E3 tournament is like a whole different story now. Like 1 year later, it's definitely not the same anymore because the context of it all revolves around it. At least last year, it was a completely different game. I specifically remember Rising Moon having a lot of difficulty getting used to the game, and yeah, so obviously they have plenty of warm up time. If you were to put it to like any team to win it, obviously Japan first, honestly. After that, I don't know who's going to win it, dude. It's not even Central Destroy X with a clear shot to win it because we don't have a good picture of how they play across regions.
Yeah, I mean, like Central Destroy X has showed up in Japan and has placed pretty well in some tournaments that they've played in, but they haven't. I don't think they've won a Japanese tournament. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
Nine says no, so I'm assuming he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, they haven't won a big Japanese tournament yet.
Okay. And it's like they're phenomenal players, and I definitely think if it comes down to clutch factor, they're probably the team that's going to be able to make it. But when they're going up against GG Boys, and when they're going up against Gucci Gang, who is, I think they're changing their name to Pandora for the tournament or something like that. Could be wrong. I don't know. I heard something about that, but both extremely powerful teams. And like Gucci Gang is just like what the absolute star lineup from, I think, Germany.
Yeah.
It's like 4 insanely good players.
Yeah.
And that's not to discredit STDX at all. Like they're also 4 insanely good players, but it's like, I don't know, when you're going up against GG Boys and when you're going up against, you know, those other teams, it's like
you need that.
It's no longer going to be like America where you're fighting a bunch of teams that are maybe not as good as you, maybe haven't been able to dethrone you. It's you're fighting other teams of all the other regions that are all either as good as you or better.
Yeah, I think for me, what's really astounding is that obviously like it being a national competition within US and Canada and it being like a national competition within Europe have 2 totally different meanings, because that the way teams got together, you know, you could argue for Europe like that really harmed the quality of teams that got put together, but for Gucci Gang, the stars aligned for them, and I'm actually really, I'm kind of nervous for SplatHeX, but I don't know. That's something we'll obviously see unfold in, gosh, I guess a little less under a month now. So it's not too much time, and I've been seeing SDX streaming a bunch, probably in preparation.
Oh, every day.
Yeah, literally every day.
Every day, I see them online.
Yeah. So I'm pumped about it. Unfortunately, I mean, unless you're gonna surprise us on the day of 9, I don't think we'll have you casting for that, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll see Jordan again for that. And I'm sure it'll be like a fun broadcast. Since last year, I'm sure the production will be really cool. Like the production for last year was really cool, and even just seeing Jordan, I think that was his first tournament commentating Splatoon, right?
I think it was, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he really shone. Like he
yeah, no, it's. I was talking like after the tournament, I was like talking to some of the players, and it was like he actually showed like a genuine interest in the game. Like you could tell he liked the game. You could tell he liked the community, the players. He wasn't just doing this like for the paycheck. He wasn't trying to like show anyone up. Like you could tell he was into it. You could tell he had that spirit and that love.
Yeah, and he's a professional, so I don't.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. How do you win? Yeah. Well, with that being said, I mean, obviously, that's going to happen in a couple of weeks. I'm sure, you know, when we get to that point, we'll probably have a big podcast to talk about it. But our boy NineWholeGrains is here, and I want to interrogate him and put him on the hot spot. All I know about him is that he's a weeb, and he's got gains. So, Nine, in general, I mean, I think we all have kind of like interesting casting backgrounds, and I guess we can use this as an opportunity to kind of talk about that because, yeah, we have pretty interesting backgrounds in general. Nine, like, where does your casting background come from? I think you said you started way back when Melee, when you were really involved with Melee, right?
Yeah, so it started, so in our local scene in St. Louis, we had a tournament series called Toasted Ravs. St. Louis's Toasted Ravs. It's one of like 3 things we're proud of here.
Okay.
But that was the tournament, and I hopped on casting there because, quite frankly, nobody else wanted to do it. And that kind of became a thing. Toasted Ravs was probably every 3 months. So every 3 months I would get up and commentate. And then after Toasted Ravs 6, our best player, who Dark Atma, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that
I
name.
recognize that name.
Yeah, Dark Atma. He's a really good Sheik player. He lives in NorCal now, but he wrote a 5-paragraph page on our Facebook, like the public St. Louis Melee Facebook page, roasting me and saying I was awful at commentary.
Oh my god!
5 paragraphs.
Wait, can you link this, please?
That's the stuff that I live for. You gotta show this to us.
He deleted the post.
Oh man, did you get screenshots? You have screenshots, right?
I wish I did, but hey, the screenshots are in here and they have never left my mind. So, that was.
When was that? Like what year? Just to give us context.
That would have been 2014. 2014 was when I stopped playing Melee competitively. So, after that happened, though, I really didn't cast much at all, anything. It had probably been about 2 years since I'd casted when you all let me on at Don't Park in the Grass. So, and from there, you all kind of know the story. But, I mean, I remember when I was talking with Austin and Coney on the the Fellows in Arms podcast that we did.
I remember that. Yeah.
They were all talking about their theater backgrounds, and I have no theater background. I have no acting background. I have no choir background or anything like that. The only thing I can say that I did recreationally that helped my commentary is improvisational comedy. I was president of our college's improv comedy troupe, and I did that for 4 years. So
that's actually super.
That helps a lot, really.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you like get involved in like improv comedy? I guess no. You know what? That's really funny that you bring it up because like. That explains how good you were with puns with Jordan. I think, like, and just in general, beyond that, like that. Okay, this makes sense. Sorry, keep going. Anyway.
So yeah, improv. We had an involvement fair. I mean, most colleges probably do, where all the clubs get out and put out their posters.
Right. Yeah.
And there was one that I saw my freshman year that said Chain Link Improv, and that was the name of it. And they were giving out those little what are they called? Like, they're not bomb pops. They're the ones that you cut open the tops of, and they're like little icicles. What are they?
Oh,
it's freeze pops. Freeze pops. Freeze pops. That's
okay,
what they're
okay.
called. So they were giving out freeze pops, and so I took a freeze pop, and I showed up the next week, and I was awful. Oh my god, I was so bad. Because I went in with all these preconceived ideas of what jokes should be instead of just rolling with it. And then midway through that year, a bunch of people quit, and there were only 6 of us, so I got to do it a lot. And suddenly, improv comedy was all I could think about. And that kept going, and I got more involved, and eventually I became an officer, and then from there I became president. Mm-hmm. And it was, a once or twice a week thing. Every semester we put on a show that was similar to Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, yes.
And just learning how that is, how to stand in front of a crowd and have the nerve to just make up something on the spot and have complete confidence that you're not going to mess up helped me so much with commentary, because you have to be able to adapt very quickly, both to what your partner says and to what's going on. It's kind of like a conversation. It's almost an improv comedy scene, except for it's not inherently comedic. You're just talking about what's going on. You're doing it quickly. You're adding in little bits of banter, and you're just kind of going back and forth with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, like now that you've kind of like brought that to my attention, like yeah, it really does feel like that. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't really have any experience with like anything like that. Like the way that I've always handled commentary is just like know what you're talking about, give insight, know how to speak fast without messing up, think ahead of what you're saying, and it's like now that you've kind of like brought all these other things up, it's like wow. Yeah. I suck.
Damn. All right, Vesper. We don't need to go down that emo route, but I mean, you got your start, Vesper, in like Dota 2, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I actually often forget that like Vesper was like big into Dota, and for like seemingly like hulkingly large communities like that, I have no idea how to get involved with those, and so the fact that you came from that background was like really kind of impressive. Yeah, like
it's like Dota, honestly, like any other competitive game that's not a fighting game or Splatoon, frankly, is difficult to actually get into and get your foot in the door with like all the entire community. It's really big. You got to know the right people. It's not easy. I think just as a side note here, I think one of the great things about the Splatoon community is just exactly how easy it is to get into. Like you can always talk to players. You can go into stream chats. Like you're probably going to start remembering names here and there. You're going to know players. You're going to know teams. Super easy to get into. But yeah, the way that I started casting Dota 2 was I was on a team, and my team had like I think 7 players. And whenever I was like, at work and I would go home and they were already scrimming, I'd just like join up, turn on my stream, and start casting the scrim. And so I don't know. I just kind of like started off. I was like jittery and mumbly and stumbling, and I said dumb things that didn't make sense. And sometimes I would just like get off on a tangent. And I'm sure we've all been there. I'm sure we all know exactly what that's like. And the thing about Dota is that it's such an information heavy game that I think it was a really good way for me to train myself into always knowing what I'm about to say, thinking about what's coming next. Because there's so much like stuff. Like if you go watch like TI, for example, or the International, which is like the big yearly Dota 2
it's like $15 million in prize pools,
like the Dota 2
tournament. Yeah.
Everyone knows about it. It's the commentators are always like on point with like knowing the names of heroes, abilities, players, knowing skill builds, knowing item builds, knowing like all this crazy stuff. And I was always trying to emulate that with my Dota casts. And it's like a very, very complex game, and it's a very complex commentary. And so moving on to other games, like I didn't really do much series commentary for anything else except for, I mean, I did GDQ commentary at Games Done Quick events, but that's kind of a different ballpark.
Oh, look at you. All right. So you've been around the block.
Yeah, I've been around the block, but like coming into Splatoon, the game's a lot more like simple. Like, yeah, you've got the weapon picks, you've got the different roles, you've got the different maps, but there's like a good maybe 20% of going on in Splatoon compared to what Dota is. So it kind of helped me feel comfortable. It's not really like a lot of stuff you need to be paying attention to. And the right words come to you a lot quicker because you're not thinking about exactly like what the name of this ability is and like what the name of this set play is and like this hero can do like this crazy thing. What does the community call that? It's all just like, wow, this person just killed that guy with his squid gun. Cool.
I think, Nine, you brought up a really interesting comparison in, I think, this the EDTV chat about just like the parallels between Splatoon and like hockey commentary. And that was like a real like eye-opening moment for me because hockey's been the only sport I've actively watched since I was 8, and now I'm thinking like maybe that's lended to why I've kind of took well to Splatoon. But yeah, like it's a lot of like fast communication, and sure, you can expand on like a lot of your knowledge for the game, but oftentimes you don't have enough time to really cram that information in. You have to really Splatoon feels like a game where oftentimes you have to more so finesse the mastery of communicating information as fast as possible, more than actually knowing knowledge, which is
and on top of that, you really have to understand the flow of the game too. Like you can't just arbitrarily say that one kill. Oh, I can say that again. One kill at the top of the screen. We'll get into that, but one kill at the top of the screen may not look like much, but you have to be able to identify very quickly if that was there and be willing to transition over to that. And it's just like hockey too. You can't be too fixated on what's going in, because if the line change is about to come in and you know that the star player is about to come in on this line change and there's a power play, you have to divert attention away from the puck to the greater story that's about to unfold. And that just comes with practice, just understanding what's about to unfold so that you can preemptively talk about it. Because if you just try to keep up, you're never going to be able to. Like, it's just way too fast.
When you're talking about hockey, it's like, how do you handle, when you're commentating hockey, how do you handle a situation where a team goes 4 down and they're losing map control?
We call that the goalie has been pulled. It's probably in the last 10 seconds. And that's the time when it's okay to scream, because nobody knows what's going on.
Or it's like a 5-on-3 and a team is down by 1 and it's like 1 minute left, or like even just 5 minutes left, something like that.
The goalie gets pulled and everyone's just kind of huddled in front of the goal. And
Doc Emmerich is losing his mind. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Also, my childhood team is like now in the Final 4 of playoffs, and I've just been
isn't it Winnipeg?
Yeah, Winnipeg Jets.
They put the whooping on Vegas last night. God, I watched that game. That was.
Oh, did you?
That was I mean, it was 4-2. Sounds a lot closer than the game was. It may as well have been 9-1.
Honestly, I mean, this is a Splatoon podcast, yes, but let me put my little bit in. The first 10 minutes of that game was just actually like, Vegas is gonna lose 10-0. We're going to lose a team on the spot right now. But yeah, that was insane to see. I'm looking forward to that in general. But. Yeah, no, I think in terms of like commentary, we all have like these really cool diverse backgrounds, and I think it's really cool to see how they've all kind of met somewhere along the line, and here we are kind of on some level of common ground, I guess. Although I haven't played Rank X and probably will never be able to, frankly. But hopefully at some point I can get up to that level, as I found more time to play recently, so that's been good.
That's good.
But yeah, beyond that, I think in general, for commentary in the future, I think what really got me excited, the new thing that got me excited for commentary was watching Long Island Splat 3, which was, I think, just yesterday. And for grand finals, they had both Milana and Acid Sunshine for a grand final commentary. And I was like, oh my God, we can do this. We can have like a female block of commentary. I completely forgot. And
I saw that too.
No, and I think what really just like spoke volumes to me was just how visceral level of fun they had when commentating. Just like really.
Yeah, you could definitely tell. Just like listening to them talk, listening to them commentate, you could tell that they weren't just trying to be there to commentate. Like you could tell they were having fun. They were into it. There was energy. Like you could tell.
Yeah, and what's really fun is that like there's not many other communities that has like representation to the level that we do, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Agreed.
Which I don't know. I mean, I feel like that shtick is like talked about a good bit, but like, I mean, I guess to further in on that point, like, I feel like even myself, I haven't done like a good enough job of being able to like kind of surface those personalities and be able to give them a platform in which, you know, they're really able to shine. And so for me to be able to watch that and kind of see that presence was really just fun. And and especially Acid Sunshine, she's been putting in a lot of work over like the last couple of months, and it's been really fun to see her commentary, kind of especially the growth of it all. So I think that's like what I'm kind of looking forward to Smash and Splash is about, is just seeing a feel and presence on the mic, which I think I overlooked, and I think in general like we can generally like overlook, but I think it's pretty important. So yeah, I don't know, that the new wave of commentary hopefully coming through. Although I guess in general it's like pretty hard to like find you know, means and channels to commentate. I actually really like, for Black and Spoon, I think was like the most open means of accessibility for commentators nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely.
No, it definitely is.
It's like, it's kind of just like they have a Discord server, and it's just like, if you want to join commentary on Black and Spoon, they just like, as long as there's not like 5 people talking already, you just like, just join their mumble and you just like say hi. So it's like, it's great. It's super like casual. It's super laid back, and they have always made an effort to help commentators who might be new to Splatoon to use Black and Spoon as a way to like kind of get some experience and just kind of figure out exactly what they're doing and if they like it even.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I feel like that is like the really good channel, and I found like, yeah, people are being added to that server to commentate every now and then. That's sick. I just wish there were like more means of like doing that, because I mean the reason I was able to cast is I was like, well, no one else is doing it, so I guess I'll just do it. 9, it was, what was the situation? I think it was just like...
At DPG?
Yeah, I think it was like just...
I was sitting next to the caster stand watching somebody play, and AC says, hey, do you want to commentate? I'm just like, huh?
Haven't done that since Dark Atma roasted me on Facebook. Let's give it a try.
And...
Wait, who was your first commentary partner, actually?
It was Cinnabunny. It was Cinnabunny. And then the next day was Square. So when everyone's talking about, you know, hey, getting that representation and casting, I'm like, hey, from day one, baby. Bring them on. I love it. I love it. The perspective, it's great. And they did a great job there making me kind of just easing me into it at the time. So I'll never forget that. I'll never forget where I started.
What was your first set? I kind of want to like, I mean, obviously not right now, but I kind of want to just like take notes. Like, when can I find NineWholeGrains in his baby form? I don't want to go back and just.
Did you
casted it? You weren't there with me.
Wait, no, but I wasn't the first with you, was it?
No, you weren't the first.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's.
What were you saying, Vesper?
9. Did you cast the grand finals of DBG?
Yeah,
I did, and that one was crazier. I casted for the first time the day before the final set. And then losers finals, I casted with Square, and then Eric was just like, "Hey, why don't you stay on?" And I was like, "What?"
Let's fucking run it. Yeah, no, that was
okay.
Yeah, no, and I remembered that like, well, now I'm starting to remember it really well. Cinnabunny, I think, I mean, that was Resbit's sister, right?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah. No. I'm starting. It's starting to finally come back to memory, because I came back from a trip. I had studied abroad in Australia, and I came from a trip in Japan, a week long, like literally right before the event. So a lot of the memories of that event are kind of a blur to me. But the one thing that does stand out was just like generally like you coming to commentate out of nowhere, and yeah, that was really fun to see. Also, on a side note, Resbit coming back to play at Smash and Splash 4.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
One of the storylines I'm looking forward to, actually. I completely forgot about that. But
so one thing, and then we'll move off of this topic.
Sure.
You know the story of Dope Park in the Grass that nobody tells. The Stratosphere got 4th place at that tournament.
Wait, who did you beat?
We beat SRL.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Dude, catch me looking up the Smash.gg DPG brackets right now, because I do not remember. Another thing I do remember, though, is Kraka going to town with Got2 versus Chimera. I think that's, if there is a timeline in which we release like a top 5 moments from LAN's video, that is maybe debatably number 1. I'm trying to think of another landmark moment, but that was Vesper. Have you seen that set?
I honestly don't know if I have. I know I watched a little bit of DPG when it was live. But like I gotta honestly just say like that was like slightly before my time in the competitive Splatoon scene, so I wasn't really like too aware.
I guess to give context to those watching, like this is back in Splatoon 1 days when we were still on the Wii U. We still had to deal with having unknown cap of how many gamepads we can fit in the same room before.
My god,
that was
no LAN mode, no spectator mode,
no LAN mode,
awful.
No spectator mode.
Everyone running on internet.
We just had one perspective of a dude. We commentated right next to dude, like the player, and every single moment he messed up on and yelled at the top of our lungs, which was great. And I'm sure he loved that too. But yeah, no, that was definitely a sunken place if I've seen one. And that was a great time. I'm looking at the results right now, and Stratosphere, y'all got y'all got 5th.
What? No, we definitely got 4th.
I can show you the receipts right now.
What? Okay, so Strange Approach got 2nd. Chimera Dome got 1st. Sorry, I have to lead off. I have to lead off with that for funsies. And then 3rd place was Spectre's team. What was it called?
No, you're right. Sorry. Apologies.
Yeah, but then I don't think anyone else outplaced us because you know who eliminated us? We got double eliminated by Chimera Dome.
Oh.
No, wait, no. Let me back up. We lost to Chimera Dome in pools, then we lost to Spectre's team, then we lost to Chimera Dome again. That's who we lost to.
Yeah.
So.
Weird. Yeah, that was Dome Bark in the Grass was the 2nd LAN, and I think you went to the first one, which was Squid Storm 2016, and you were like still like kind of floating around as like a player only kind of, and you were doing good.
I was definitely player only at that part. Yeah, dude, amateur bracket win, baby, wins Marvel, the best amateur team ever exists.
Yeah, that was Squid Storm 2016. I remember that one. Yeah, when we had Mario Superstar Baseball as the side competition. That was
side event. Yeah,
I wish I joined that. Seriously.
Hey, aren't you doing like a Mario Kart Wii LAN or something?
I was going to, and then I realized too many people were like, I'll go if like X person goes, and within a community of like 100 people, that was just
that makes sense. Yeah, okay. That'd be sweet though. I'd watch that. I don't even know anything about the game, but like that sounds tight.
Do we want to go down this rabbit hole of competitive Mario Kart? I don't think we want to, but I mean,
no, we don't want to do that.
I don't think anyone wants to.
But
like,
I've done this a couple of times, and I figured, I know how to hold back at some point. So yeah, let's not go down this rabbit hole. But in general, I think what was, I guess to move off of that, we've been talking about commentary for a bit, but beyond just like Splatoon, all I know about you, Nine, is that you like Ultimate Frisbee, you like Fire Emblem, and you did improv, and you work at a cool place. I forget what it is though.
You gotta get it. Don't tell him.
Oh.
He's got to find it out.
It's not like a rock climbing place. It's somewhere close to that. It's can I phone a friend for this? No, Vesper, you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. No idea. I just want to see you suffer.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Hit me with it.
So I work at an escape room. That is, I work 2 jobs. I work as a live technician and video editor at a media company in St. Louis, and then I also work at an escape room. So those are how I fund my crippling LAN addiction. So
and your posters, apparently. Yes.
Oh, there is just off camera here the real dark deep dive into
you showed us your
opposite
wall,
of the whiteboard.
You showed us your wall, but you won't show us your posters. Or can we? Is that like not safe? Like, can I not do that? Can we not do that?
Oh no, you can. Okay. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Well, probably.
I don't know. I'm not the moral arbiter of what's good and bad in this situation, Dine. You have the hand and the webcam in front of you, but yeah, we'll take away from
Well, we'll see about it. But you said you were going to put me on the hot seat, man. What do you got for me here? What do you got?
In general, well, I mean, I could do Splatoon hot takes, or I could kind of go into the weeb route. I don't know. You pick one of your poisons here.
Let's go weeb route. I feel like most people know about my Splatoon hot takes. Okay. So
fair.
Let's go weeb route.
Okay. What was the last anime that you ended up watching?
Just Trigun.
Trigun? Oh, really? Classic. Yeah. No, I haven't actually gotten around to that. Okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah. It was one of those classics that I hadn't watched yet, so I started it, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's real good.
No, I think the only kind of classic that I've kind of seen in that vein is Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
That's a good one.
I still haven't finished it though, which is a shame. Because like obviously like it kind of remains like episodic, right? Until you get to the bit where it's like the last kind of there's like an arc towards at the end, and I stopped.
Yeah, it's like arc based. It's like the first like 5 or so episodes are just like whatever, and then it's like arcs, and then like the last like what is it, like 7 or 8 episodes are like story.
And guess where I stopped right before? Last 7
Making a
or 8
mistake, man.
episodes. What's the most embarrassing anime you've watched?
Oh man,
I feel like this is where I wanted to start this conversation.
This is where you wanted to start it. The most embarrassing anime I've ever watched.
If there's a list, please go on.
There's a long list. The most embarrassing anime I've ever watched is called Yosuga no Sora. And you guys, I'm not going to talk about it.
I haven't seen it.
Chat, either one of you, if you guys want to Google it and see what it is. You've seen it too?
I've seen it.
Wait. What is this? Like, how do I spell this?
Yosuga no Sora. Day in chat has said School Days. I have watched School Days as well.
Okay,
but I think Yosuga no Sora is a little more embarrassing.
I like School Days. Like,
wow.
Unironically.
Have you played the visual novel?
I have not. I've only seen the anime.
Okay, well, play the visual novel because it's worse.
Is it? Okay, well, maybe that's why people hate it. I don't know. Like, I just unironically, I enjoy just how, like, stupidly over the top fucked up it is.
That's a great way to describe it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other embarrassing. I mean, that's probably still number 1 for me.
Bro, I Google imaged up.
Woo! Let's go.
He's in.
Yeah. No. All right. Let's move on to School Days then. Let's.
Oh, that's even worse. Schiller in the chat right now has asked for my favorite visual novel. I have 2. Of course, I played Ace Attorney Lux, but my favorite 2 are Higurashi, which also had an anime and manga series.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Higurashi visual novels are great. And then one called Kamidori Alchemy Meister, which is a super expensive one. It's like $200 if you buy the whole package. But it's like this. It's a shop simulator as well as like a strategy game in the same vein of like Advance Wars or Fire Emblem. And it also happens to be pornographic in nature. So
just like all visual novels
just
are.
like as like a footnote, by the way, it just happens to be pornographic.
That's most visual novels.
Saying. Right.
No, it's like most visual novels out there. It's like, hey, we got this great story and we got these awesome characters, good art, good music. It's gonna pull your heartstrings and there's porn.
Wait, wasn't there like a explicit one that came out on the Switch recently?
Oh, Senran Kagura?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
I just heard
it's not a visual novel. That's not
a visual novel. That's they do have the what's it called? The HD Rumble boob physics though.
Oh yeah. All right. Senran. I just put on Senran Switch if anybody's curious in a Google search, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah, okay. No, because I asked for most embarrassing because I was wondering if you'd bring it up. But you didn't. So I remember a time where I brought up, I forget where this was. It might have been online, might have been at a LAN, I forget. But I remember you talking about being able to, admire bara, I think.
Oh, yeah, no. So, okay, if anyone's curious about my sexuality, I'm pretty sure that I don't like guys or girls. I just really like muscles. So... Okay. Like I can appreciate good bara. Look who's on my shirt right now. It's Ike.
Dude, I swear to God, you've been wearing that shirt the last 5 times I've seen you.
Well, there's a good reason for that. I promise
he probably just has like 5 different versions of that shirt.
But yeah, no, I really appreciate good sculpted muscles. So,
what you're saying is that you've gone down the internet and you've looked up bara and you're like, yep, this is what I like to see.
It's like that. What's that? The gift of the kid on his computer who's sitting there. He's like,
oh, and then turns to the camera and yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, no, okay, no. I just wanted to know if that like was like a secret or anything. But you're so forthcoming about it. I'm lost. I thought I had you there. Dang.
No, dude.
Dang it. I thought I got it. No, because I remember once. I remember once tweeting. Can't wait to look bara at some point. And AC asked me, hey, what's bara? And I told him to Google image search it. And something to the effect of, I can't believe you just made me search that in like my classroom or something with someone next to me or something. I forget. But yeah, no, I think that's that bit. Like I just run the bara bit, and you've been like the only one in this community that's been like, yeah. And which just caught me off guard, and I thought I'd save as like blackmail for later, but it fortunately didn't work. So that's my shtick.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, that's one reason I enjoy lifting is because I get to see myself look a little bit more like that every day and kind of see it all come together.
That's so wholesome.
You showed me a before picture of like when you were doing like Ultimate Frisbee. I'm like, yeah, you look literally the exact same. It just like the arms are just like, and it like someone just took like a Photoshop tool, Control T, and just like dragged it down diagonally or whatever, and just or dragged it up diagonally. How long was like that whole process for you? Like, because I think I don't know, you started that after college or I don't know.
So, Don't Park. So, okay, I'd started a little bit of it before, like the summer before Don't Park in the Grass started. But I kind of moved away from it. That was after my NCAA eligibility for running was gone.
What?
For those who don't know, I ran college, I ran cross country and track all throughout high school and all throughout college. So as soon as that was done, I was like, all right, I'm leaving my knees alone now. I'm going to lift a little bit. But it wasn't until after Don't Park in the Grass that I really was like, okay, I think I can like really do something with this. And then I got addicted to deadlifting. And I'd say to get where I am now, probably I've kind of stalled out a little bit because I'm kind of like starting to hit the limit of like what my body's normally like expected to do. I was 165 pounds in college, 6'3", 165, and now I'm 6'3", 195. So it's about 30 pounds total.
6'3", 195. We're addicted to deadlifting. I feel like you have a shirt or a tank top that like just says that in impact font or something.
No, so that's the funny thing. I have nothing in my closet or in my room would tell you that I lift.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's just like it's something I really enjoy doing, but it's not really part of my identity.
I didn't say it, Buster, but I'm glad you said it. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, that's cool though. I think that because like so more often than not, like I feel like when people go down that deep dive, like it's like their life, like fully. I remember when I got my random freshman roommate, and he just decided to start bodybuilding, and now I just scroll through Facebook, and he's like a bodybuilding instructor, and he kind of like goes to competitions, and like he's jacked to the point that it's like I'm kind of concerned for like if your body's supposed to look like that. And I don't know, I feel like I have similar like interactions with people that go down that. So it's like really cool in general when I see like you or like people like Xavier Woods, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the WWE star who like dabbles in I don't know, all kinds of like fighting games, and it's just like people in general that like you have this image of them of like how they might be, and then it's just like completely like different when you get to know them. Yeah, there's like I don't know, I think of like Asa Butterfield being into Smash, like Lupe Fiasco being into like Street Fighter. And I think you're like the equivalent of what we got for like someone who's like just like across the board. Like, yeah, I'm like this jock, but I'm also like hella into bara, and I play Splatoon. What up?
I play a children's squid fashion game.
It's an important part, man. I'm a firm believer that you should just really go after whatever it is you love. Just do it as hard as you possibly can, and just never stop doing that. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter how many things it is. I'm the type who will just continue to do something until I just fall asleep doing it, and then I'll wake up and do something else. That's just how I am.
That's for how much? How much can you deadlift?
Before I answer that, can we just get a round of applause for NineWholeGrains? What a guy!
What a beautiful human being! What a beautiful human being, and all that he does. Yes, that was a great motivational speech. So,
so I used to go to the gym quite a bit back when I was into cosplay. Which is something that I don't actually talk about a lot, but yeah, I used to be like pretty heavily into cosplay.
Dude, fuck giving Nine the hot seat. I'll just give you the hot seat. We gotta go through your Facebook at some point, dude. All right, anyway.
Dude, I deactivated that. You are fine at anything, okay? I do have pictures though, and I can give you pictures somewhere. I gotta find them.
Okay. Keep going.
But yeah, like I used to go to the gym. I was there for like I want to say like a year. I think I just like got one membership, and I would go in like I don't know 3-4 times a week, and I mainly did what's the term that you're looking for? Like I wasn't doing strength training. I was doing the other one.
Cardio.
I don't know. I'm bad with gym stuff, but like I wasn't always trying to like do like I wasn't always trying to do like lifting heavy. I was doing like high rep with like lower weights instead of low rep with high rates.
Oh, that's more endurance training. Yeah.
Endurance training. There you go. That's what I was trying to do. So yeah, I was doing more of that than I was like strength training and bodybuilding. But when I did deadlift, I think I did like 160, which was not a lot, but yeah, I didn't really do a ton.
But you were out there doing it. All right.
I was out there doing it.
Completely joking. I was expecting to ask that question, get a cute 2-second response, and move on. But you lived that life.
You know who I am?
I mean, vaguely, yes.
I guess that's what the point of this is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
He never backs down.
Yeah.
Never backs down.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good though, Vesper, especially if it's high rep.
Yeah, maybe Nine can cook you up a workout plan, and you can go down that.
I actually have a gym that's literally like a less than 5-minute walk away from my house.
Come on, you can just get in there every day, just a little bit every day.
Thinking about it.
You work 12 to 8, Vesper. You can manage that in the morning or something.
I can.
Yeah.
You're right. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in general something that I found is just like finding. I know this is like a very 22, 20, 23, 24-year-old thing to say, but like after finding a job, just like struggling to find time in the day and like having to make the very purposeful act of like either talking to old friends or like just being healthy or making sure you can see things at the bottom of the floor of your room. And working out is one of the things that I just haven't found the time for. And
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Adulting is hard, and I can't say I really do it that well, but
I don't think anyone does, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think there's something to be said about like adults being just kids but grown up. I mean, obviously that's a pretty cliche thing to say, but
no, completely agreed. It's like
kind of true. Yeah,
there's so many people out there where it's like you look at them and you're like, wow, they got their shit together. Like they're killing it right now. But I guarantee you, if you talk to them and if you were like to get them open up about like, I don't know, like insecurities, problems that they're having, like they would just unload on you. It's like there's not a single person out there in the world that knows what they're doing. Everyone else is like, everyone's just like kind of, you know, free balling it. Like everyone's maybe has plans. People kind of maybe know like the direction they're trying to go in, but for the most part, no one knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, that was my college story, just wrapped up in a nutshell. I think I forget sometimes what degree I got was marketing, and that I did literally nothing with that, and I was just spending my entire time just spitballing what I should do with EndGameTV, which at the beginning was commentating Mario Kart Wii sets, and that was yeah, that was something. No, beyond that though, I think are we good to talk about this then? Can I put the timer on? Is there
anything else we could talk about before we do that?
So just for clarity for those listening, so obviously there's a little bit of an elephant in the room in terms of what's going on in the Splatoon community. And, you know, the TLDR that, you know, we can put forth is that what we're about to discuss is, yes, a bad thing. We shouldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. But to your point, Nine, and your question, we could talk about other things, but I'm already here and we're already talking about it. So I'm going to set a timer.
We are setting a time. We don't want to waste too much time talking about this. We actually talked about this before we all got into the call today.
There was preemption.
We're not going to go into too much detail.
Yes,
we're just going to talk about it, give our opinions, move on.
Yeah,
that's simple.
And of course, that topic is SplatHeX, and I'm setting the timer right now because I really don't want to go down this rabbit hole. But it deserves.
How long's the timer?
10 minutes. I mean, it's starting at 10:35 right now, and it's counting down.
Okay,
so,
got it.
Quick, Vesper, obnoxiously cough for 5 minutes so that we can't talk about it, and I'll take maybe the baton when we're done.
So, SplatHeX, where do we start? So, I guess we can start with Splatoon 1 and, you know, the effects to which it had for that game. Or, actually, no, let's just start with the announcement of it all. I actually haven't been the most present in social media and kind of seeing what's going on with all the noise of it. But at some point, was it yesterday or the day before that, Lean released like a pack talking about SplatHeX and like how he actually, you know, it finally happened for Splatoon 2. And, you know, obviously the context for SplatHeX is that it existed in Splatoon 1. I don't know what takes you guys have on Splatoon 1 SplatHeX. I kind of thought it was pretty good.
So like Splatoon 1, it's like SplatHeX, like the gear system was completely dependent on RNG. There's not really any for sure fire way to get exactly the gear that you want. It's sort of justified a little bit, maybe not too much. As I'm sure you guys might be aware, like players in the Japanese scene actually got banned in tournaments if people found out that they were using hacked gear. So, you know, while it did exist and while it may have been slightly justified because there was, again, there's no exact way to get the gear that you want in Splatoon 1. It's all completely random.
It's literal RNG, yeah.
literal full RNG with very, very slight manipulation that was still pretty much full RNG. I do think it was a little bit more justified for Splatoon 1. That being said, moving into Splatoon 2, Nintendo gave us a gear system. I guess I can actually say this. My opinion on the transition between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 was Splatoon 1 really felt kind of like a proof of concept and like a beta test of Nintendo's idea to make something happen in like the shooter genre, for example.
From top to bottom,
and, yeah, exactly. And then they tried it out and it like worked really well on a failing console. Like the game killed it everywhere. And so then they're like, wow, let's make this an actual game. And Splatoon 2 is the actual game. Splatoon 2 is the real Splatoon 1, whereas Splatoon 1 was like Splatoon 0. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, going back and looking at Splatoon 1, it almost looks like a beta, man.
Yeah.
Have you like watched Splatoon 1 footage recently?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of gross. Not gonna lie. Splatoon 8.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, continue.
But it's like in Splatoon 2, they gave us a gear system, and it might not be the best. Yeah, it might be a grind. It might take a long time, but it's there. And if you put the time in, if you put in the dedication, you can get the exact gear that you want with no RNG involved.
Yeah.
That being said, SplatHeX removes the grind and lets you have whatever gear you want whenever you want without a huge time commitment, without needing to show up to tournaments with suboptimal gear, and also looking really fucking cool.
Yeah, I think the obvious bit that sticks out in comparison to the other form of it in Splatoon 1 is the rank editor, which is that I think has been the hottest item, the line item to talk about. Which
let me clarify here: the rank editor is actually not a part of Lean's package. I don't understand too many of the details, but to my knowledge, the rank editor is not finished, but it might be one day, and it might be Lean, it might be someone else that makes it. I'm not sure. But to my knowledge and from what I've understood, anybody with a basic knowledge of C# and assembly can make a rank editor. All they got to do is just like look at the dumped files.
Word. Yeah. And Nine is dead in his chair.
Yep, hiding away. So, all right. Before I say anything else, I want to say that my overall thought about this whole ordeal is that regardless of what hacking it is, I am disappointed to see hacking in Splatoon 2 within a year of the game coming.
Yes.
I don't think that any competitive game, any competitive shooter, especially one that has so many issues online already, so many times that the 3-shot gun takes 1 shot to kill, so many times that the 2-shot gun takes 5 shots to kill, that hacking is already going to become a mainstay in our game. And make no mistake, it's going to. Like you said, whether it's Lean, whether it's anybody else, it's going to be in the game and it's going to be a mainstay unless something changes on the developer end, something changes on the online end. That is...
Well,
like,
okay, I mean,
it's just disappointing, man. Really, it's so disappointing. We've got so many things going so well for us right now. And this isn't to come down hard on SplatHeX or Lean or anything in particular. It's just kind of a kick in the shin, you know?
I think the one thing that's like, you know, we can be positive, like at least have some positive air about is that like the Switch has only been out for so long and Nintendo's pretty committed to keeping it updated. So obviously SplatHeX is a means of like editing your data offline, but you know, just because Nintendo's so on top of their console right now, like I would like to think there's a timeline in which, you know, this can be made obsolete. And that's kind of like my thread of hope that I think is more of a rope than a thread. But I think I'm kind of hopeful about it. But like to your point, as someone who came out of the competitive market Wii scene where the Wii was absolutely butchered to all fucking hell, cheating and its long-term effects on the community can be rather devastating, and especially in a shooting game when some cheats might be less distinct than others. And obviously you can say like, oh, well, I mean, it's just like an editor for like your gear or like your rank or whatever, but the implications of this are more than that, and it allows for accessibility to changing save files and like just how your game operates that wasn't before possible. So
yeah, and I think to go along with that, I think, you know, if you ask the average player maybe I'm just putting people's words in the mouth. So I'll just ask you two here.
Mhm.
If it meant giving up gear editing or, adding chunks to your game or however you want to
Sign me up.
if it meant giving up that to ensure there were no hacks of any sort ever in Splatoon, would you make that trade?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
100%. Yes.
Where's my pen and paper? Where is it? Can I sign
I
it?
have so many
I
videos of myself towards the end of Splatoon 1, still
Yes.
very much in a healthy life cycle for the game, for a competitive game that we would see, not able to play online ranked matches because of hackers. And I never want to run into that again. And I know that I'm looking way too far, but the bigger picture is what irritates me more than SplatHeX.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the gear editing is, maybe it's fine, whatever your opinions on that. The bad thing that we can take from this is that this concept is teaching people how to hack Splatoon 2. And it's going to get worse from here. And we're going to start seeing cheaters online, like actual game mechanical cheaters.
Woo!
Yeah.
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 I am not looking forward to it, but that being said, another positive note is that at least we have LANs, right? And I feel like being able to cheat in actually, I haven't thought about that. The ability to be able to cheat in a LAN setting.
It would be pretty obvious, I think, if you tried to cheat at a LAN, because you would need to do quite a bit of setup beforehand.
Yeah. I mean, in its current state, right? But
yeah, in its current state, that's correct. It could improve, quote unquote, from here.
Yeah. We have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, by the way. We've come a good.
Okay. I want to put out a point then. I want to put like a hot take there.
Cool. Yeah.
I see a lot of people saying stuff like everybody has the same level of access to SplatHeX, which makes it fair for everyone, and that's why it should be allowed.
That doesn't make.
I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people say that, and my opinion on that is, if everybody's cheating, does that make it not cheating? Like, this is literally bypassing a game mechanic that was given to us by the developers to get to an end goal quicker. And if everybody is able to do that, that doesn't make it better because everybody's still cheating.
Literally just explain the Mario Kart Wii community right now.
Yeah.
It's just a state of like, if someone loses, they're like, oh, well, that person was cheating. And like, that's like the kind of conversation that like everything is centered around when playing the game is, oh, they had to be cheating. Or, I mean, and it's not, they're not even wrong. It's because it's just so ubiquitous at that point. So yeah, I'm scared. I don't think that's necessarily like a hot take even. I think that's
no.
I
don't think it is. I don't think it is either.
Lukewarm.
To kind of add to that hot take, I guess this might be a little bit. I'll warm the waters a little bit. I'll turn the gas on somewhat on the stove here. I think this will increase the divide. I think that the vast majority of people who play Splatoon that you're going to run into in solo queue will never ever have access to this, or a lot of them won't even know about it. I'd be willing to bet.
I agree with that.
So the whole idea that it's for everybody, I think it's for our very small circle, and it's created for the small circle, and that's fine. But don't go with that side of the argument when the vast majority of people who play this game that you're going to interact with will not get access to it and will not use it. So yeah, there's the slightly warmer take.
Yeah, it's like the gear editing, if that's your sole intention, it's like, yeah, you're not giving yourself an unfair advantage in game, and in a tournament it might not really matter, but it's the non-competitive aspect of the game that we're talking about right now. Like, you're still completely bypassing
10 seconds.
an entire system to get to the point where you are. And like I said, you might not be given a strict advantage in the middle of the game, but when you can make it to that point faster than other players, I consider that to be an unfair advantage.
And that's it.
Marsh is telling me some real dirty stuff in chat right now about, I guess the doomsday prophecy is going to come true a little faster than we think, boys. So we'll see.
Let's not talk about that. You know what? We ran the timer. I ran the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire countdown on the stream. I think we finished up. TLDR, drugs are bad. Don't do
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
All right. I saw, so to get onto a happier topic now, I saw a question in the chat way earlier that I forgot. Schiller asked me what my fastest mile time was. So my fastest mile time is 4:20.
The madman.
Whoa!
What a legend. What a legend. As someone
my-
who likes to dabble in haha Lamau XD 42069. Haha.
Wait, what did you say? Limau? Is that what you've been
Lamau.
saying?
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, Lee Mal.
So, if anybody who works with me at SplatHeX is listening to this, they very much know I've just been saying, instead of, just laughing at things as someone, might normally do, or just saying like, oh, that was funny, good one, I say Limau XD, which has really caught on and has made me the subject of some talks. But yeah, sorry. Excuse me, I'll try to censor myself.
As it should be. As it should be.
You said it was 420, right? I think my mile time was like... Wait, what's your mile and a half time?
We've had this discussion. I never ran a mile and a half.
Okay, wait.
Who runs a mile and a half, Eric?
My PE coach, I forget his name, just told us to run mile and a half. And I
The
got...
pacer test moves according to the beeps. Line up, get ready for the start.
Wait, what is
5, 4. The pacer test? You never took the pacer test in high school.
I called that the beep test.
Yeah, the beep test, the pacer test.
Yeah.
There's a longer name for it, but
this? Dude, what are you talking about?
It's the thing where they
Chat,
they
help me
have
out.
like a stereo system or something like that set up, or they play it over the speakers in your gym. And there's beeps, and the beeps get faster and faster and faster and faster. And you got to run to the other side of the gym before the next beep. And if you don't make it before the next beep, you're out.
Oh, that was like the suicide things, right? Like the what are
Yeah.
they called? Is it literally just called suicides? Or
Yeah, cool. Suicides, yeah.
I mean, I guess that's... The Fitness Grand Pace test is a multi-stage aerobic. Of course Kyo would know it. Also, hi, Kyo.
No, I actually had so much fun with that. That was when, like, I'm generally like pretty athletic,
Dude,
and I had a lot.
It was
of fun.
competitive. That's what
Yeah.
I liked about it.
Yeah, no, it was just like I would look at the dude like sweating like on the other side of the gym, and we'd look at each other, be like the last like 3 people.
Your
there.
eyes meet. It's like initial D or something.
Initial
Your
D.
beat starts playing.
Deja vu.
Yeah, no,
Were you two guys? Were you gym class heroes? Because I was
No.
definitely a gym class hero.
I
I was
was
not.
something
I was
in
the
between.
biggest tryhard.
I
I
mean-
was the biggest tryhard.
Yeah, I kind of was.
I
one.
tried on good days, but most days were not good days, and I didn't try.
That's the classic response: is I didn't even try, bro.
Yeah.
Catch me when I'm trying. Catch me when I'm.
Yeah, there you go.
Catch me when I'm
It was
deadlift-
just like get body when you're playing hockey in your gym class.
Catch me when I'm
and it's
deadlifting
like-
160, bro, and we'll talk then.
That's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard you say.
What?
Wait, you guys?
Catch me
Okay,
getting
okay,
body.
hold up. Did you guys never actually play hockey in your gym class as Americans?
No, I'm in
No?
Southwest Missouri.
Oh,
Of course, we didn't play hockey.
The one-
You never played hockey in your gym classes.
The
No.
one time I did was
Crazy.
when the 9/11 happened, and they brought us indoors, and we played hockey in the hallways. That was
Oh,
the
no.
one-
In the hallways.
Yeah, we played hockey in the hallways, which is
Okay.
the only good thing to come out of that day, and that's where I'm going to stop this. But yes, I played hockey at gym, and only for that reason alone, I've always wanted to. Yes, that was the most Canadian thing possible to say.
Okay. Well, damn. I thought hockey was just like I mean, obviously we know hockey's big in Canada, but I thought people still would play it in like American schools. But damn, I learned something
think
new.
in bigger cities that actually have hockey, it probably, that probably is. But in my little
Okay.
dinky town, we most certainly did not.
I also played lots of dodgeball, and okay, dodgeball was one of the things where whenever we were playing dodgeball, it was a good day, because I did not try in dodgeball. I would pelt kids.
That was one of the games I just wasn't comfortable with, dude. Like the
I would
beginning,
dunk on people.
the beginning. So I consider myself a generally athletic person and pretty good at all things, like master of all trades, but like not really of any particular one. But dodgeball was one where I was like, dude, I can't run up to the middle at the beginning. I'm gonna get fucked. I can't put myself in harm's way like that. And we had the rubber balls too. It wasn't the foam balls either. It was the ones that leave the bruises on like your shin and your arms. And
Yeah, those are the good ones. You could get some oomph behind those,
Did
man.
you get like the little pink ones? Is that what you're talking about?
Y'all
Or
probably
were they-
like paintball too. Shit. Yes, those are the ones.
Yeah, I do like paintball. Paintball's good.
Fucking masochist.
I think laser tag's better, but paintball's good.
Oh, catch me at Laser Quest fiending. All right, I remember.
Yeah.
Wait, do you guys have Laser Quest where you guys are? Like,
Yes.
in your
Yeah, we do.
local?
Eric, next LAN,
I'm looking up Madison.
laser tag,
I'm looking
laser
up.
tag money match with like a bunch of players.
I'm looking. Wait, no. Smash. Oh, you're not going to Smash.
I'm not going to Smash and Splash.
There is one at Smash and Splash. Were you in the group
is.
that went to the laser tag last year?
No, I was not.
Oh my god!
I regret
Is
it a lot.
Sammy in chat? Sammy and Hitzel corner camped the entire laser tag game. They found the best spot and they did not move the entire game. They just stayed in the corner, and oh my god!
Wait, who was it? It was Sammy and who?
It was Sammy and Hitzel, and Avery and I were like running around each way, like ducking and dodging and getting all these picks. Think we're playing so well, and Sammy and Hitzel just kept feeding on people who were just walking to the middle. At one point, I saw this gal like get stunned and not know where it came from, and then as soon as her gun came up again, she got stunned again, and she looked away as Hitzel and Sammy were hiding behind this rock, and then she came up again and they shot her again, and they just did that over and over and over again.
Oh my god.
That sounds like such a Hitzel thing to do.
Yo, Hitzel, if you're
like you play Hitzel in Splatoon, you play Hitzel in laser tag, it's the same player. Like you don't even have to see him.
That is actually the most favorite thing I heard of this podcast.
I had hidden that somewhere in my mind. I had forgotten about it, and now I'm angry. So ask what are some other questions here that'll make me happier? Because I'm just getting irate. Some casual, good family fun at a resort getting ruined by Hitzel and I guess DJ was in on it too. I'm finding out now. So thanks, guys.
Before we get away from this conversation, I kind of have to find out. Like, I mean, did they win?
One of them did. I got second, and Avery got third. But then I think they got fourth and fifth. But one of them won, and that was all that matters.
Shit, I'm sorry to hear that. That's actually, I'm sorry.
I kind of want to see like. Is competitive laser tag a thing? It's got to be, right?
Competitive everything is a thing.
Well, yeah, but like there's got to be like something to say about like getting a bunch of like competitive shooter players, like shooter video game players, into a laser tag arena and seeing just how different they play versus actual competitive laser tag people. Like, I wonder what the difference would be.
Have you ever heard of xplasersport.com?
I have not.
Apparently, it's a thing. I mean,
that sounds sick.
We could have guessed it.
I'm quitting Splatoon right now.
Right, yeah. Before this E3, when Nintendo said that they will shock the world with Splatoon and you're going to quit it, yeah, all right.
Yep.
I believe that. Which, by the way, do we have any hot takes as to what that might be? Also, if
I saw something like saying that it was like not real. I don't know.
That was going to be, that was my second question was like, what was the source on that? Because I feel like it just came up out of nowhere and I kind of never really saw like a credible source beyond just like fan accounts.
Oh, for the Nintendo thing?
Yeah.
It was BTM, if I get this wrong, please don't roast me. I think it was either Koro Koro or another chat like that, and they put
Pretty sure it was Koro Koro, the magazine.
And it's legit. I don't know if the shock the world comment was accurate, but they put out a logo that the announcement is going to be related to. And if you look that up, you can probably find it. I have no idea what it could be, but given that it's coming from Koro Koro, I kind of wonder if it doesn't have something to do with some form of media.
Interesting. Media. Wait, hold on. Media in what sense, though?
Well, I know that Koro Koro had like the gear that we had last year. What I'm saying is I don't think that it's explicitly going to be related to competitive Splatoon.
Right.
It might not even be related to Splatoon 2 because they just said it's a Splatoon announcement. We might be getting like some spin-off game. Could you imagine like a Splatoon RPG, like Paper Splatoon?
Oh man, Paper Splatoon. Now you're just playing with my heart.
Oh no.
Does that not sound sweet?
Dude, you got me thinking
Paper
now.
Splatoon.
I'm not.
We're almost there. We're almost there. We'll find out soon enough.
I'm not one to like dabble in like the whole like speculation of like what could be and like the rumors of it all, because like 95% of the time never ends up actually happening, or whatever rumor that's hot off the press just never ends up coming to fruition. But the idea of like a single player like only Splatoon game that has like a really in-depth like plot to it. Not to say that like the current single player isn't satisfying, but like it kind of got me thinking.
Okay, but like let's be real here. Knowing Nintendo, I think the announcement and what it's going to be is they're just going to say Octo expansion's available right now, and that's going to be it.
I feel like that's not. I don't think that's it.
Come on.
Also,
I'm just trying to not be let down here. Okay, if they surprise me, sick.
This
but
is
like
the scan. This is the scan right here.
Anyway, what's up?
So you guys in chat, you guys can, the two of you can see now what that scan is.
Okay. Also, I'm gonna turn up the light behind me, and I'll be right back.
Sure. So Vesper, what's your hot seat question for me? Irix been the one firing on all cylinders right now. There's gotta be something.
Who do you think is the most overrated team in the scene?
Say that a most overrated team in the scene?
Yeah.
All right, what am I missing?
The most overrated Splatoon team in the scene. Oh man, you're gonna make me give up my image that I've worked so hard to build of loving everyone equally?
I mean,
yep,
that's a great shtick though. You've been holding to it for a while now. I would love to see it fall to pieces.
The most overrated team in the scene. That's
a great question though. I love that one.
I feel okay, so I'm gonna dodge this question. Here's why. I think that we already have this perspective of the great divide that occurs, and I think that it's a very legitimate like divide and perspective. I feel like all the teams that we commonly associate being at the top belong there and have proven it. So it's hard for me to say. I feel like there are underrated teams. I guess if I had to pick a team that I think is most overrated, it might be. I'm trying to think of the seeding right now.
We can go back to that list we made a while back. You know, when we were just like talking like,
man, just talking about the different teams that have come through. I'm seeing the team names in my head, and I'm trying to think of like who I legitimately think is actually overrated, or who I tend to drop like in my rankings as I'm like going through them.
I think the point you make that like there might not be as many overrated teams in general, like I think that's actually might be true, because I'm beyond the point of just like caring like, oh, we might offend someone, and I'm literally trying to like think like, who have I thought walking into a match and I'm commentating over it is like, well, everyone in chat is gonna get hype and I don't care, and I literally can't think of anything.
I guess the popular pick would probably be Olive, but Olive just beat Kraken Paradise.
Oh, yeah,
and have been looking really solid for like the last month. So it's like, I think they had a rough spell, but I think everybody gave them like the most crap for that rough spell. I think people were like really hard on them. So I can't say they're overrated. Like even at their worst, you wouldn't put them below top 5 in Europe, I don't think. So like, how can you say that's overrated? I think that most Splatoon teams are pretty fairly rated, at least in my mind. So, I sorry, I don't really have a good answer for you there, Vesper. But I think if there's one thing that's pretty good about the scene, or maybe bad, you kind of know where everyone's gonna finish. I mean, all the seeding we did, all those teams, top 4 were exactly how we predicted. We knew that the top 4 was going to be the top 4. Like, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think
the correct answer is Komodo.
I don't know.
He might be right.
You're like a top. I think you might be right. I don't know. I think 10 or 11 is right for Komodo. If you guys participated in more tournaments, I would have a better look at it. But I mean, I think that you guys are pretty fairly rated. I mean, if you think you're overrated, where do you think you usually get rated?
I actually have a lot of discussions with a particular teammate, which I'm sure I don't need to name, on where our team actually rates on the standings. And it's like, when we are hot and when we are playing our minds off, we can be like top 5. Like we can definitely kill it. That being said, it's not very often that we are playing like that. And I think if you were to give us like an average rating based on like, I don't know, all of our placements, or kind of just like throw a number out there, it's like probably between 10 and 20 somewhere.
Wait,
yeah, I think that's fair.
What matches, like when you think of like how Komodo performs at like its peaks, like what tournaments or matches do you like really look back to and can point like, yeah, we can reach this height?
G5 is definitely one. Like we were playing our minds off at G5, and you know, maybe we only got 5th place. We lost to Komodo. Wow, we lost to Olive. You know, completely because they're a better team. Like that's why we lost to Olive, is, you know, they're just a better team. We did take one game off them, which made us feel really good, but Olive was just a better team.
Yo, actually, sorry to cut. I just realized who I think an overrated team is that doesn't exist anymore. Creme Fraiche. I think in general.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were always kind of consistently ranked as like, around a top team, and like when they came through like a commentated set, like you could definitely. I remember so many times even myself just saying like, oh, these are the veterans, the boys are in town, like. They're here to mess some shit up, and every time I feel like it's like a 3-0 against them. And I don't know. That's something that I just noticed over time. I don't think they're bad, but it's maybe just because their roster changed over time, and maybe it was like a hard to kind of grasp like who was playing at a particular time to like maybe accurately perceive them and their skill level. And I guess you could say that about the Splatoon scene a lot as a whole. Which kind of makes it difficult, honestly. But I think Vesper, we were having like a conversation like a while ago, even when we were just talking about making this podcast, about like those underrated teams or maybe teams on the come up, and like obviously like we could speak like volumes about it, which I think you have more insight than me on. But like obviously Vitamin C, after seeing them in the Inkling Open, was like the first one we thought of. But like even some other ones that you were talking about, just like from like playing pickups and stuff.
Yeah. So like Vitamin C, I'll touch on them first, was like going into the top 8, the week between the qualifiers and the week between the top and top 8. Everyone was talking like, oh, Vitamin C, like, what are they doing here? Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I mean, they made it through some pretty good teams to actually get there. So it's like, if people are kind of dunking on Vitamin C and saying that they are probably not going to be like good enough to be there, mm-hmm. I don't really agree with that, because like the amount of practice that they put in, just recently in general, or as well as, maybe it was just that week before the Open, maybe they never expected to get into the top 8. Like, I don't know. I don't want to dunk on them too much, but it's like Vitamin C like showed up, like they played well. And, I said on Twitter, like Komodo didn't really play our best Splatoon mm-hmm. on the top 8 day, but like Vitamin C gave us trouble, and it wasn't because we were bad. It was because they were good. Mm-hmm. Like they definitely practiced. They definitely got better. And I think it's like a very bad thing in this scene that a lot of the players do, is that they don't ever change their opinions about teams. Like, maybe a team's bad once, but they're not going to always be bad. If they're committed to the grind, if they're committed to getting better, like Vitamin C obviously was, they're not going to stay like that. It's like people need to realize that just because a team gets like, I don't know, 10th place in one tournament, they're not going to stay that way forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember, what was the team you talked to me about? Like that was like a pickup team you found in like the academy or something.
Yeah. So this is a team Upgrade.
Wait, no, wait, was it Upgrade? I thought it was like some other.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, Upgrade. Okay, there's actually 2 teams. One of them was Duck Dollar Bills. Duck Dollar Bills was one, and Upgrade was the other one. And both of these teams actually kind of have a similar story. Komodo was just like looking for scrims one night, just like hungry to get some grind in. And we just meet these guys who like we've like never heard of. Mm-hmm. Like there's Duck Dollar Bills and there's Upgrade on 2 separate occasions, probably like a month apart from each other. Mm-hmm. And like both of these teams, like we don't know any of the players. Maybe they've been in the scene for a while, but like we didn't explicitly recognize any of them. And they like were good. Like they were a team, like we scrimmed them, and like the games went back and forth, like I don't know, maybe like 50-50. I don't really keep track in scrims, but like at the end of the scrims, we asked them, like on both occasions, we asked them, we're like, how long are you guys been playing together? And they're like, a day. And we're like, what? And we're just like, oh my God. And now both of these teams are like out there taking names. Like I think Duck Dollar Bills is like, they haven't really entered too many tournaments recently, but their very first tournament as a team was the US and Canada Inkling Open. And they got like, I think 16th place or something like that, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Have we seen them in tournaments since, by the way? I haven't like been doing my.
I think they played in Ink Force once.
All right.
I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, like Duck Dollar Bills is crazy. Upgrade, they're a bit of an older team than Duck Dollar Bills, and they've just been on the grind. Like those players are just improving and improving, not just as a team but as individual players. It's like I feel like when we were scrimming them however many months ago, and we were going even with them, it's like if we were to play them now, like they'd probably just wash us, because like they've just improved so much since then at an insanely fast rate. And I definitely think that if teams are not looking out for upgrades specifically, it's like they're gonna miss out.
Literally, the reason I tune into Black and Spoon every like week is to see how like upgrades like were performing. Honestly, like I'm watching them literally every week just to see, because they've been, I don't know, they've been really fun to see. I know I've seen at least one of them since like Splatoon 1 days, like in ITI, if I remember correctly. And so it's like been cool to see some of their players just kind of level up and stuff. And I don't know, like I think there's something to be said about just like, you know, obviously like when we see tournaments, it's kind of disappointing to see like the 1 through 4, as you said, 9 show up in 1st through 4th place at the US Canada Inkling Open. But I don't know, I'm kind of hopeful, but I don't know, maybe I'm hopeful in the same sense that I'm hopeful that someone beats SplatHeX, and every time it doesn't really happen. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I think Splatoon is like kind of similar to Melee in that way, where oftentimes like the players that you can seed by, although this isn't really true, especially recently, but like the seeds that you have at the beginning of an event largely will stick true through the damn end. And you know, maybe we see that change, especially the game's only been out for like a year, like assuming that assuming that SplatHeX doesn't tear us apart, you know, we'll have another couple of years in us and see some rise to some really cool teams.
And no, like Splatoon 3 is going to happen eventually. Like you know it. There's no way we're not going to get a Splatoon 3 when this game outsold Odyssey and Breath of the Wild in Japan. Like this game's huge.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think, like you said, like as long as this community keeps going at it, this game's like what, 3 years old? Like Splatoon as a series is like 3 years old now, just about.
Yeah.
It's so underdeveloped. And I think if we see some names stick around, and you know, if we as a community develop the scene properly, which is probably another topic for a completely different podcast that we could talk on for hours, as long as we're doing things right, and as long as, you know, players are sticking around and getting better and better, Splatoon's just going to kill it in the future. This game has just like a ridiculous amount of potential. And right now, I always like to say that if you look at other top competitive games right now, people are always like, oh, Splatoon's never going to be esports. It's never going to be like Counter-Strike. It's never going to be like Dota. It's like those games have been developing for 15 years.
Also,
like people have been.
Also, to that argument, it doesn't like need to be like.
Yeah, exactly. That
like,
too.
We're in a pretty cozy spot, I'd like to say. Like, we're on the come up, right? People are starting to notice us here and there. Like,
right.
I don't know. Like, we're reaching a land with 250 people ish, probably towards more, including spectators, and like that's only a year in. Like, I feel like, going further and further, like we're gonna be in a pretty cozy spot where we still turn heads, we're able to get better prize pools, etc.
Yep. And it's like, if you look back into the early years of CS, if you look back into the early years of Dota, they didn't have any of this.
Halo, like it's
not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. Compared to those other games and compared to the time frame, we're killing it. Yeah. We're absolutely smashing it right now. And like if we keep making good decisions, if we keep having like amazing people behind organizing these events, it is going to be huge one day.
I guess, and I guess we're kind of wrapping up on time, but I guess one question that's on my mind that's I've always kind of thought about is, what does a Splatoon 3 look like? Like, how do you differentiate a game to be able to make it commercially successful?
Dedicated servers.
All right. Well, shit. All right. We have best first answers. Nine. I guess your hot take.
Just modernizing the online format. I mean, there's so many things that there's so, and that's, you know, there's a few things that can go into that, but I really think that's, the game is there. And I think the meta is in a great place right now. I think that people are starting to become genuinely happy with the way things are going. And I love their philosophy of let what's really good be really good, and then slowly inch everything else up to it until you achieve that equilibrium. I think just modernizing online, modernizing a voice chat.
But do you ever see Nintendo going down that route though?
I didn't see them getting this far either.
You know what? Fair. You know what? Fair.
They're hosting Splatoon at E3, and they brought in 8 top players to showcase their new Smash Bros. Like,
that's fair.
This is not an invitational to showcase the game. This is showcasing the competitive merits with 8 of the best Smash Bros. Players on the planet. I didn't think that was going to happen. So maybe there's new surprises coming around.
I guess my concern is, I mean, yes, there are a lot of things that can be improved with the online experience, like being able to choose your own mode and kind of like I'm thinking of like something Call of Duty style where like every game you can kind of pick a different map from like pre-selected like options or something. I don't know, something offering better flexibility, because still to this day, you know, from back when I started playing Splatoon 1 and even still now, like when I'm suggesting friends to this game, every single time the gripe that they have is like, well, this online experience kind of blows in comparison to other shooters, and they're not wrong. But I think beyond that, what I kind of was getting at was like, concerning for me was like the reviews for Splatoon 2, which obviously I'm not gonna care if it's like rated 1 to 10 or whatever, but the consistent remark was just like, yeah, it just feels like a lot like Splatoon 1. It's good. It's just a rehash of it. And
I mean, I say you don't fix what ain't broken. If they change too much to where it doesn't feel like Splatoon anymore, I'm not gonna play it. I like Splatoon as the niche that it is, the way it moves, the way it feels. And I mean, you know, reviews will be what reviews will be. The game's huge in Japan. It's pretty big here. The Switch is huge. So you know, keep that train and rolling, baby. Nagami, keep pumping out the magic.
I think the magic of Splatoon is that it's so complex in its simplicity.
Yeah.
The game is so simple that it's actually ridiculously complex.
Yeah. Yeah. In control is, being able to, in control is movement, is winning fights, is map control, is movement, is winning fights, etc. is how I look at it. And yeah, it's really simple, but like the way, you know, you're able to play around with that simplicity and to which you can kind of reach or stretch like the individual limits of your play is insane. Like every time I see like on Twitter, like a Twitter post with like 2,000 retweets, it has a Japanese caption, I'm expecting, and I always consistently get like, I remember that one with the roller that would always like flick shot like in Inkjet. Do you remember that like one Twitter? Yeah, that one video.
Yeah,
of,
I
like,
retweeted it.
Oh
yeah.
God, like that. What?
It's 4 different splashdowns, and it's a carbon roller who just runs through and gets all 4 of them. Like
yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, you can stretch the limits of this game to all hell, and I don't know. I guess we've been saying this a lot, but like it's only been so much time, and I'm looking forward to like just seeing like the individuals that can really take this game and really stretch it. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're kind of wrapping up here. Are there any kind of final remarks? Do we want to I don't know, like look at? I mean, I guess we'll just look at the Twitch chat and see if there's any outstanding questions.
Any rapid fire questions for us, for me, for Vesper?
Yeah,
anything like that.
I mean, beyond that, like, you know, before whatever questions may or may not come in, like, obviously Nine, you're sick to have, and you're more than welcome to come on whenever we have, like, I don't know, like a LAN preview thing or whatever. Like, if you want to weigh in on like who's gonna win SNS4 or who's gonna win E3.
You got the whiteboard. We need your whiteboard.
Taking notes, baby.
Yeah, consistently. Yeah. Anyone have a clip of when Nine and BSME arm wrestled? I actually don't know if that exists. Honestly, now that I think about it. To give the backstory on this, Vesper, you might not know this.
I think that does exist. I think there's a highlight on your Twitch channel of that.
Yo. Shoutouts to whoever did that, because Lord knows I didn't. Dude, that actually might be sick. So to give context to this, SNS3 in general was kind of like I'm proud of a lot of the streams we've done. In SNS3, the experience of being there, it was like, I think it was like the first, correct me if I'm wrong, either of you or anybody in the chat, but for me it was like the first experience where like it really felt like a competitive experience. I don't know if it was the stage that kind of alluded to that, or, you know, being able to have headset voice communication for the first time at a LAN, but the atmosphere was incredible. Just being able to have a spectating area, and, you know, people popped off with it. But with that all being said, the stream was like kind of not the best quality, and we had a lot of fun on it though. Whether it be, God, tic-tac dabbing too many times on stream, or in this case, BSME
let me interject
destroying Nine. Go ahead.
Before you continue, let me interject. Back when I was like trying to get into the competitive Splatoon scene, kind of like see what the story is, see where you guys have come from. I was like, looking to your VODs, and that's actually how I know that the VOD was in your highlighted in your Twitch channels, because I do remember seeing that.
That is sick.
And I remember watching SNS3 VODs, and I see Tic Tac on commentary, just like dabbing and awful memes, and I'm just like, do I really want to get into this?
That was not a proud moment in our time as a producer for Splatoon events, and from now on, like since then, TikTok knows like commentary is not a place for him right now. But I love TikTok to death. He's got all the love in the world from me. But yeah, that was funny. How do you respond to people who say Splatoon is a kid's game? Just play like a real shooter like COD or Fortnite. I don't know.
Imagine thinking Fortnite is a real shooter.
Damn. I was just gonna say let them like what they like, and you just keep doing your thing.
No, your opinion has to be correct.
I could have literally spitballed your guess before we even had the question come to us. That was literally the most non-response I could have gotten.
9 wholesome grains, baby. 9 wholesome grains.
I don't know. Like
it's like honestly, it's like Splatoon is designed as a competitive shooter from the ground up. Mm-hmm. It's got the skin of maybe a kid's game, and maybe that's not for you. That's totally fine. But it's like at the end of the day, when you compare Splatoon to a game like Call of Duty, which is designed as like a casual game for people to just chill out and have fun, when you're trying to play at a top level, Splatoon's gonna just outslay COD any single time of the day. Splatoon has mechanics. Splatoon has balance patches with patch notes. Splatoon has developer interaction. Splatoon has first-party tournaments. I think COD does too. But
COD has all of the above, yes, but continue.
Yeah.
No, I would argue kind of to your point, like what you were saying in that I would kind of stress the mechanics of the game, like especially with map control. I think being able to swim around faster and stealthily in and of itself is what makes this game so incredibly unique in ways that other FPS games can't compare. Or I shouldn't say FPS, but just shooters. And that's what's really meant the world to me for a game like Splatoon.
Oh, also another point. Sorry for cutting you off, Nine. Another point is that like you ever notice that everyone that plays Splatoon is like in their like I don't know maybe like high teens, low 20s, whereas everyone that plays COD is like literally 13 years old.
It's the reverse of what you'd expect.
Yeah.
So Lux in chat has asked about the Splat versus Kill story. So long story short here, there are things that you can't say on a stream, especially with Nintendo brand, including saying kill or death. And that's just common sense, right? That's not something that should surprise anybody. It's cool. Part of the brand and things like that. It's just keeping to the theme. Yeah. So on the plane ride over, I made a list of phrases that I could use instead of kill, death, or KA. And now, here on Fresh FM, I am going to read that list to you. So, we have splatted. We have taken down, beaten, falls to, nice trip back to spawn, squishes, crushes, snipe, goes down hard, goes down softly, flanked, flanked again, drops, dropped, flanked, punished, out-dueled, melted down, and then I put SHZ for Shiny Hunter Zack and then a smiley face next to it. Brings the hammer down, caught in the crossfire, pounced on by, denied, HP has hit 0, splats and assists, trip to spawn, staggered spawn, and my personal favorite here, squelched. So those were all things that I had written down on this plane ride to
that's impressive.
Get myself in the mindset of saying things other than kill and death. And then once I started, I've never had to stop myself from saying it. There was maybe one time, like in between games, when I had to stop myself from saying KA because that just rolls off the tongue so easily. But it really just comes naturally. You're not nearly as beholden to saying these things as you think you would be.
I was like, I had my like 2 minutes where I commentated, and I picked up on that as well. Just like, I didn't even think about that. Like, I think I remember like when I was coming on to commentate with you for the Inkling Open, I remember like saying like, oh wait, there's phrases I can't say, right? And we just kind of spitballed it, but like something about being like, like just knowing that like the gravity of the work you're doing, and just like, yeah, this is like, you are on twitch.tv/Nintendo. Just something about that just like kicked you into like, okay, I'm just gonna stop saying kill, murder, destroyed, and start using things like splatted, and it just kind of rolled off the tongue. I'm gonna borrow the fuck out of squelch, by the way. Continue.
Here's I I guess like we probably should honestly wrap up here, but I'm gonna throw it off with like one more question. Do you guys think that as a community we should be steering towards not saying the word kill for all of our grassroots events to gain more support from Nintendo?
Nah, honestly,
no.
I think we're fine. I don't know.
I think we're fine too.
I don't think that that's what would stop it. I mean, they.
Whoa! That's next topic, guys. Let's go.
Wait.
And that's, I mean, of all the things that might potentially steer a major company away from supporting, the fact that we say kill instead of splat is at the bottom of the list or very near it.
I feel like I feel like if we have, I feel like if Nintendo supported us when we were doing our Splatoon 1 days, I feel like this is like nothing compared to that. Like I feel like
maybe
what we've done in the past, just in general, like. Yeah, the word difference is just, I don't know, minimal. And I think something that I know we should probably wrap it up, but Carter, obviously, again, he's like the producer for a lot of the EndGameTV streams. For a long time, he produced mainly for Smash only, and got, of course, over the years, got to, get to know a lot of like Smash Bros. Commentators and have a lot of people on for locals, regionals, etc. And the first thing that jumped out to him that he noted to me when like doing his first Splatoon bid for Endgame was, oh my god, the standard for commentators is like actually ridiculously insane. And I think that's something we kind of forget about or maybe might not acknowledge, is that in comparison to other grassroots games, like the bar is pretty honestly high, like really damn high. And I think we can all like kind of pat ourselves on the back for that. I don't know what it was that kind of catapulted that. But just from top to bottom, like consistently at every single commentary bit, like we have really talented people working, on the mic, and that's something that I'm just like really proud of us as a whole in general. I don't know. Yeah.
Round of applause again for the Splatoon community.
For the community and for the commentators, three of which are in this chat.
I just literally did the biggest dick stroke of all time. Like this is all a collective circle jerk that we were just like, yeah, we're doing a really good job.
What else would you expect coming into a podcast called Fresh FM? Like
Fresh FM. We're just that fresh, bro. Anyway, I think that
go ahead. Actually, no. Go. Yeah. To just add on to that, I think that one of the reasons why we give consistently good commentary is because, one, we all work together very frequently, and we're all very open too. Like we always ask each other for advice. I know Zach and I talk about, performances and things. I know Vesper, you and I have bounced ideas off each other. Iric, you and I have done the same. We're just all open. We're all unified for the cause of giving the best possible experience for the viewer. And I'm not saying that casters in other games aren't, but I just feel like we're all so chill and just enjoying it and loving it, and the passion seeps through, and we're genuine.
Exactly. We're doing it because we love the game, and we want other people to love the game too, and we're their first point of contact when it comes to enjoying the game. And I think that's something that we all understand.
Yeah. I think that's one of the cool things that, when people bring up, like, we need, like, money in the scene, I think maybe something we don't think about is, like, how, like, everyone in the community, or at least for the most part, people in the community, like, they're in it because they love it. Even if they won't admit to it. Even if they will say the opposite, actually.
Even if they won't admit to it. That's the closest thing to a call-out there's been here. Even if you won't admit it, we know you love this game.
By the amount of times you've quit and came back to it, I can directly tell there's a correlation. There's correlations here that you're not willing to admit. All right, guys. That's been Fresh FM. Nine, you've been a blessing to have on here. As always, Vesper, chill as hell to hang out with. Nine, where can we generally find you at? Can you shout out any places we can find yourself at?
Yeah, so Twitter at NineWholeGrains will be the best spot to find me. It's I'm fairly active on there. You can find out how much I actually hate Fire Emblem. I'm not sure to say I love it.
Right.
Okay, love and hate are on two sides of the same coin here. My coin just usually happens to be flipped towards hate. But you can find me there, and I know I've said this for the 50th darn time, but I am planning on starting streaming soon to kind of, do my part in contributing to the media of Splatoon, because I still feel like there's a lot more that I can be doing. I'm not yet satisfied with the job I'm doing, so I want to continue to do a better job there. And you know, that'll be at NineWholeGrains as well. Thankfully, nobody else takes that name. You know? So yeah, those are the two places. Anybody in the chat, if you ever want to talk to me about anything, as you have realized over the course of this, I'm very open. DM me. Like, even if I don't know you, I'll say hi. Like, just chat and have a good time. Yeah. So
catch him while he still has below 1,000 followers on Twitter. After that,
gotta say, I was one of the first 1,000.
You guys, come on, man.
After that, it's fucked. You know, when Nine, I don't know him anymore. He used to be a really good friend of mine. We went to Nintendo once. That was a great time. He just
got so famous, and you know, I just can't talk to him anymore. It's just not. He just doesn't care.
I don't even know what the word clout means. You guys are fine.
You aren't following Crush's account then. Either way, I think that's about it, guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been Fresh FM. If you guys want to catch us, we'll be here next week at 9 p.m. Eastern time for hopefully less than an hour and 45 minutes. But this was a good episode. Thanks, guys.
Well, okay, like before this started, Iric was like struggling with figuring out if we were actually going to be able to talk for an hour. He's like, "Can we really do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like it'll be easy." And then here we are, almost 2 hours in. I think he was like supposed to stream some league match 40 or 15 minutes ago, and we're like super late on that now.
Don't worry about it. We're all good.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay, that's been it, guys. We'll see you guys next week, Sunday at 9 p.m. Until then, see you guys later.
See ya.